Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to Full Time Devils. I am Adam Mckola, and we're outside the Emirates where Manchester United have somehow made this Arsenal side look like a good team. We were beaten 2-0, and to be fair, we were comfortably beaten. In that first half, Arsenal were much the better team. Manchester United never got out of bed. We played like we had hangovers, New Year's Day hangovers. That's how we looked like on that football pitch, and we were abysmal from back to front with Manchester United. We had David De Gea absolutely slashing and miss-kicking balls from the back, which was setting up Arsenal attacks and counter-attacks, which obviously wasn't helping. And then you look at the defence. I thought Wan-Bissaka didn't do too badly in terms of his defensive duties, but obviously he has his issues going forward. Having said that, in the second half, I thought we probably should have had a penalty for a foul on him. But then in the defence, you look at it, Lindelof and Maguire were all over the shot, poor at the back, and that contributed to their first goal. Luke Shaw was getting targeted down that side by Arsenal, and Pepe was absolutely giving him a very, very difficult time. This is a Pepe that hasn't been great for Arsenal in the last couple of weeks and or months, and you look at it and he had such an easy time against Luke Shaw. And Luke Shaw is someone that I've got to say, why is he starting for Manchester United in these games? Why is he? We've seen in Brandon Williams, we've got someone who's better going forward and as good defensively. And if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to, bring through youth and develop youth, I think we've got to look at Brandon Williams being the man that takes that spot off Luke Shaw on a permanent basis. Luke Shaw, I'm a massive fan of his. When he arrived at the club, he's obviously had his injury issues which haven't helped his development and his contribution to the team, but he is a shell of that man that we bought for £30 million from Southampton. He is a shell of the player he was before that leg break, and he's a tribute act to the left back formerly known as Luke Shaw. He's not good enough for Manchester United anymore, and I just think it was easy for Arsenal to target him today, and it was a bad time for him there. He wasn't, the only problem, and it wasn't the reason that we lost. I thought Maguire and Lindelof equally had hands in their goals, but we're seeing that far too often from Luke Shaw, and I think his time's up at Manchester United. And this year is a big season and a big opportunity for many players. While we're going through this transitional period, there are some players here that are getting opportunities that they wouldn't normally get at Manchester United. They wouldn't normally have the luxury of being able to have this kind of squad at the team, this kind of thin squad, and be able to be given these number of opportunities. You look at Andreas Pereira, and I think Andreas Pereira for me is a man that he has his ability. Sometimes he gets things wrong. His decision making's awful, but he's trying, and you can tell he's committed to the cause and he wants to make something of his Manchester United career. You can't say that about Luke Shaw, and you've got to say, if this is your audition to be a Manchester United player, you're not going to pass it, and you're going to have a manager there, whether it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or the next man that comes in thinking, why should I bother with this guy? Another guy that should be worried for his Manchester United career and his Manchester United future, if we continue to see poor performances from him, is Jesse Lingard. I want to see more from him. I had him in my predicted 11 today, but I could understand why people were saying he shouldn't start, Andreas Pereira should. And I don't think we played well, passing the ball from the back, getting the ball to the front foot at all. But there's only so many times that we can make these excuses for players, and I think Jesse Lingard is another one that has to snap out of this now and use these next 6 months to say, I am a Manchester United player. That's what I want to see from this whole squad. Tell me and show us you are Manchester United players, and you deserve to be here for the future and hopefully for the development and hopefully for the success that is to come at this club. Because so far I'm not seeing enough players actually demand and fight for those spots and fight for those shirts and put enough in. And Luke Shaw and Lingard stood out the most for me in that aspect today. Maguire and Lindelof weren't great at the back at all. And in midfield, I think Matic is finished, is poor, but he didn't have a bad game today. I thought Fred wasn't great in the first half. He was pretty poor, like with the whole team in the first half. But in the second half, he actually improved. United had a lot of possession in the second half. To me, I felt like it was because Arsenal got nervous, though. We've seen this. They're playing a new style of football under Arteta. We saw against Chelsea, had the 1-goal lead. They got tired in the second half. Chelsea pushed on, capitalised, and got the win. Manchester United today, if we don't concede that goal just before half-time and it's 1-0 and we get an equaliser, we could have possibly got the same result. In fact, if we got a goal in this second half today, the uncertainty that would have clouded the stadium and would have clouded the Arsenal fans' heads would have allowed us to go on and get an equaliser and who knows. But we just couldn't get that goal, and to be honest, we didn't deserve it. We didn't have enough chances, and until Andreas Pereira came on and hit the side netting in about the 62nd, 63rd minute, we didn't create enough either. And sorry, that was the 55th minute, 56th minute when Oli made the subs. And even then, you'd think they're quite early. I felt they were quite late. Now, look, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is juggling this. He's obviously the anti-Jose, and he's not going to come out in his press conferences and absolutely rattle his players and bollock them and embarrass them like we have seen. And, you know, I saw Jose's comments about Ndombele today, and it reminded me of everything that was wrong with what Jose was saying in the press. Now, I don't expect Oli to bollock them in the press, but make crucial decisions during the game. Be ruthless with your decision making and make these players realise that these half-assed performances aren't acceptable at this club. There's nothing wrong with that. Whether you're changing it at half-time, 35 minutes in or whatever. There's been a number of games this season where we've seen it's not going right, 25, 30 minutes in, and we've allowed it to continue till at least half-time. And today, the game was finished by half-time for Manchester United, and it was too late by that point. And even then at half-time, didn't make the changes. And that's going to cost you. That's going to cost Manchester United a possible top four. It's the reason why I don't think we'll get top four, because we have these inconsistencies, we have these frailties, we have these days like this far too often, and we clearly need a lot more in terms of buying players. With no Pogba and no McTominay for the foreseeable couple of weeks, it's a worry. We need to sign players. Do we have the board that are going to do that? Probably not. And there you go. There's more worries there for Manchester United. So, you know, we need to see players start standing up and saying, I want to play for this club. I'm demanding this shirt. I'm going to be here for the next few years. And we're not seeing enough of them doing that today. But overall, I thought it was poor today. We changed it too late. I thought our best player in the second half was possibly Anthony Martial, but I wouldn't come out saying he's man of the match. I don't think any United player was man of the match today. Rashford, quiet game. Danny James, quiet game. Overall, just not good enough from Manchester United. And again, I'll say it again, that is why we will not get top four. We've got too many frailties, too many inconsistencies in this team. We need a fair few more signings, and we need some of our better players to mature and start gaining that consistency that we have been crying out for. Anyway, guys, that has been my thoughts on this game here today. Not a great start to the year. Hopefully, we'll see Manchester United improving as we go on. It's a difficult month coming up as well, and we know what will happen when a number of defeats come our way. All the talk will start to happen about the manager going, just as it seemed like we'd finally got over that period of uncertainty. So, you know, we need to knuckle down. We need to get performances, and we need to get results. And starting at the Molineux on the weekend, and who knows, a couple of cup games coming up, you win them, you change the momentum, and we start to look at things on the bright side again. But this today was pretty fucking dreadful, and it needs to be a lot better from Manchester United. Anyway, guys, let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. Make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing, get your thoughts in. I'm out of here.